CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Pastrana and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Right off the top, Chopper 4 over the scene of what appears to be fuel in the water in Fort Lauderdale. You can see the possible fuel just floating on top of the water along the 500 block of East Las Olas Boulevard. Officers were able to follow the fuel along the New River. However, due to the outgoing tide, they were unable to determine the source of the spill. The U.S. Coast Guard and the Department of Environmental Protection are now investigating. CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten is working this story, and he'll have the latest details starting at 5 o'clock. Fire crews rushing to the scene of a house fire in Hollywood. You can see some smoke billowing out from the home and the roof just charred from the flames. Crews were able to quickly put out the fire. Officials say it started in the garage. No word yet if anyone was hurt. A cleanup crew is hard at work after a partial ceiling collapse inside an apartment in Tamarack. The collapse happened yesterday at Bermuda Club Apartments. Property managers say it was caused by a beehive blocking a roof drain. Crews spent all morning removing that hive. Water flooded into one unit and impacted two others.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
Now, after a very wet Sunday, we woke up to a chilly morning, but how long will those cool temperatures stick around? We also got some clouds out there. Next weather meteorologist Cindy Presser joins us now with the forecast. Cindy?
What a difference, right?
Yeah.
My goodness, all the rain that we had yesterday, plus the tornado reports. One thunderstorm cell produced 4 different tornado touchdowns. The National Weather Service is working on that, surveying the damage right now. Not a lot, but very interesting. It is a La Nina winter, or El Nino winter, so this is the kind of thing we do expect. Now we're going to calm down and cool off. 68 degrees. Clouds are breaking up and moving out. Northwesterly winds bringing in that cool, dry air. Look at the dry air that's now making its way in behind an area of low pressure that is sitting off the coast there of Florida. So these clouds will thin out and move out. They're moving from north to south. So later on this evening, we should become partly cloudy. Our winds should die down as well. We've had gusts over 20 miles per hour out of the northwest. Now at this hour, it's sitting at 9 miles per hour. So things are going to be improving. But with that lighter wind and with the clearing skies, yes, temperatures will cool off quite quickly this evening, dropping into the lower 60s. So far, our high has been 69, 70 degrees, so we didn't warm up much today because of the clouds and those windy conditions. So we're looking for lows tonight. Oh my, 50 degrees in Sunrise, Davie, Plantation, 51 degrees in Cooper City, Fort Lauderdale, lower 50s. Thinking of 53 degrees for a low in the Miami area, Key Biscayne, mid-50s, 55 degrees, Palmetto Bay. So yes, there's going to be quite a difference tomorrow morning. Just a little reminder that winter has not left us yet. As a matter of fact, we're going to stay quite chilly for the next 3 mornings. High pressure in control, so it's a beautiful pattern. It'll be dry. We'll get plenty of sunshine, but these overnight lows are going to be quite chilly. Frontal system that came through, that is long gone now. So cool, dry conditions, and this is the way it's going to stay for the rest of the week. As high pressure parks itself to the north, we're going to continue with those gusty conditions. That'll move off to the south and east, and eventually this weekend, the next front comes in. I think this one will be moisture starved, so we'll maybe see a chance for some showers on Saturday morning, but we'll continue to track that. And our highs building up ever so slowly by Friday back to 79 and Saturday 78, but those temperatures are normal for this time of the year. So most of this week, we are going to sit below average as far as temperatures, but oh, what a nice one. Comfortable, dry air, none of that sticky stuff. Tomorrow's high is around 72 degrees, so dry. Look at the sunshine. Wednesday, 73. Thursday, starting to warm up a little bit now, 76 degrees, overnight low 55. Winds turn to the southwest coming up on Friday, so that's going to push it up to 79 with a few more clouds. Saturday morning, there's that slight chance for showers, then drying off on Sunday, temperatures back off. So cool, below average temperatures, but a nice, dry, comfortable week.
Cindy, thank you. 6 people are facing charges, 2 of them under the age of 18, as Miami-Dade police and Homeland Security crack down on street takeovers. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench has the details.
It is a nationwide problem and a threat to public safety. Now, 6 people have been arrested in relation to so-called intersection takeovers throughout Miami-Dade County from this past weekend. That's where people, in these cases, young people, do these dangerous stunts in streets, including wheelies. We'll tell you why Miami-Dade police and residents and tourists are so concerned in our story coming up starting live at 5 on CBS News Miami. In Miami, Peter Dench, CBS News Miami.
A 68-year-old man is recovering from an attack after he says he was leaving a synagogue in Lauderhill. Police say it happened Saturday afternoon. The victim told police his attacker made anti-Semitic remarks toward him. Trevor Rodney was arrested and faces several charges. He faced a judge yesterday and was given a $25,000 bond and was ordered to stay a block away from where the attack happened. Lauderhill police say they, quote, continuously strive to encourage a community that retains and promotes improved quality of life where people of diverse cultural backgrounds peacefully interrelate. Now to a health alert. The Florida Department of Health for Broward County is investigating several cases of measles at Manatee Bay Elementary School in Weston. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray has the latest.
We spoke to the chief medical officer here at Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital about measles. Since over the weekend, we are now up to 4 confirmed cases of measles at Manatee Bay Elementary School in Weston. Here's what the doctor had to say.
It generally starts off with a high fever, often in the range of 104 to 105. And then there are 3 C's that we think of when we think of measles. One is congestion, one is cough, and the other is conjunctivitis, or real red, weepy eyes. The rash, which is very characteristic of measles, develops after that. The children who are not immune, meaning they either not had the full vaccination series or they have immune problems that prevents them from responding to the vaccine, they're our biggest concerns because they're the most vulnerable to this infection and to develop the full measles picture with all the symptoms.
So if you're worried about your child, if they have symptoms, do not come to the emergency room. Contact your child's pediatrician for information on what to do next. In Hollywood, Joan Murray, CBS News Miami.
When we come back, we are live from Washington, D.C. with the latest on the 2024 presidential election. Stay with us. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. And now, voters decide. We are 5 days away from the next Republican presidential primary. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is campaigning heavily in her home state, hoping to pull off the upset. Nikki Haley has made former President Trump's recent legal defeat a centerpiece of her attacks, but Trump still maintains a commanding lead in the polls in the Palmetto State. CBS News Miami's Skylar Henry joins us live now from Washington, D.C. And Skylar, Nikki Haley has actually mentioned that for the best interest of bringing the country together, she would actually pardon Donald Trump if she were to be elected president. Yeah. What does that mean, and why would she make such a statement?
Interesting strategy, right? Naja, good to be with you. On one hand, it means that the former UN ambassador thinks that doing so would ultimately put the quote-unquote, her words, negativity behind the country as it relates to what ultimately happens moving forward. I think when you take into consideration what a Trump conviction would mean, she says that her pardoning the former president wouldn't mean that she thinks as to whether he's innocent or guilty, because if he were to be sentenced, then that means that whichever court or case or judge has found him guilty for whatever those charges might be. And so she says that she feels as if it's important to move along for the better of the country. On the other hand, she could be trying to cater to some of those Republicans who are walking more so in lockstep with the former president. And I think as she looks to try to close the gap between him as it relates to polling, looking ahead to South Carolina and other primaries, that could absolutely be a campaign strategy for her right now. She's crisscrossed the state, fine-tuning her message, but also at the same time creating very sharp attacks against the former president, not only about his stance on domestic and foreign policy issues, but all of his legal woes as well.
And Skylar, you mentioned those foreign policy issues. We know that Nikki Haley served as Trump's United Nations ambassador for 2 years. So how is she using her own foreign policy know-how as another reason for voters to choose her?
Yeah. Right. Well, she has pointed time and again to her concerns about what the former president has recently said about current NATO member countries not paying their fair share, and how he feels as if Russia can go ahead and try to attack them if they don't hold up their end of the bargain as far as being foreign partners in terms of their debts. And so I think that is something that she has expressed concerns about. She has also been very vocal about the former president's lack of condemning Russia for the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, something that many many of the former president's critics have called for him to do in recent days, but saying that leaving this open window, if you will, and not going against Putin, not going against Russia, ultimately makes it seem as if he is in line with the Russian president. And so I think that is something that she is standing on. We'll see if that has any effect. I talked about the support. We have heard from many supporters in South Carolina and Michigan, where that state's primary is coming up in the next few days as well. Many of them have said time and again that they will continue to stick by the former president. So we'll see if her messaging works.
All right, Skylar Henry live for us in Washington, D.C. Thank you. February is American Heart Month, and many U.S. adults don't realize how sleep can affect their heart health. Studies show 1 in 3 American adults reports having trouble sleeping. Poor sleep is linked to an increased risk of high blood pressure, heart inflammation, and diabetes.
When we're not sleeping as much, we tend to have more of the hormone ghrelin that makes us want to eat more, and less of the one that tells us leptin that tells us to stop eating. So we eat more, we go for the higher sugar, higher fat foods, and that can lead to obesity and diabetes problems.
Sleep experts say having a small, healthy snack before bed can help. So can limiting alcohol, caffeine, and excess liquids. Another tip, cutting down on screen time. And CBS Miami is teaming up with HCA Florida and One Blood to help save lives this Heart Month. We'll be at 2 blood drives on Thursday, February 29th from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we hope you'll come out to meet us and do your part to help end a national blood shortage. We'll be at HCA Florida Westside Hospital in Plantation. Watch for live reports from CBS News Miami's Betty Wynn at 9 a.m. and noon. And then you can join me at our second blood drive location for CBS News Miami at 5. I'll be at HCA Florida Aventura Hospital. Both blood drive locations will be open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And that's CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS Miami.